Hey guys, it's Tracy. Welcome back to my channel. So originally you might have seen, I think it was last week, you saw my August reading setup. I was originally going to do that for my collaboration with Robin, but for our collaboration today with my friend, I decided to do something different. The original thought was that I was going to do a catch-up video, and I decided to stick with that. So we're going to go ahead and go through some things today. Let me move this over a little. All right, so here's where we are, and this is going to be a little bit more chatty than actually doing anything because this is going to be kind of like catching up. So I did get these two books from the library, never opened them, and that was right around the time my mother passed, so I was not able to get into those. These two are the only books that I've read so far for the summer that's on the list. Now, another thing I want to discuss. So I love having like year-end stats, series completed, goals. I think that's great. I haven't touched this. Look that's like 3 months worth. I haven't touched it. This I did update because I was curious to see how it would be. And I think I'm definitely loving this. I think I'm going to make it simpler though. I think at this point, it's going to be more about the books read, the pages counted, you know, and we'll see. So I'm thinking about things for next year as well. So I might be rethinking my reading journal for next year because right now with the way my life has changed, this is all kind of feeling very overwhelming to me. And I don't want overwhelming. For the first like 5 months of this year, I have loved this planner and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to finish the year with it, but I think I'm going to change how I'm doing things. I'm not going to be so concerned. I have never gone back to favorites. In fact, I'm going to take that sticky note out. I'm not going to even bother with it. The first lines, if I have them saved from my tablet, I will go back and put them in. And it's a fun thing to start, and I did the whole entire year last year, and it was great. But again, I've been forgetting to mark down the first lines. So to be honest with you, you know, I'm more about the enjoyment of reading at this point. I'm not thinking enough to, you know, take notes of like, what's the first lines. I've written down some authors I've done, you know, but I haven't gone back and done this. This count is very old. I think that's from... That might possibly be from April. I don't know. Series completed, I have marked off, which is interesting. So I've now done, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've done 7 this year, which is really, really good. So I'm excited about that. My TBR, I have not touched a book on here. So I'm going to pick one, I think, for August, and I'm going to read it. I have 10 here. There's 5 months left to the year. If I read 2 a year, I can get them done. So we'll see in August if I pick 1 or 2, but I definitely want to get these going because at least if I can get through, I'm going to say at least half of these, I'll feel better. So that's something else I need to do. The only DNF so far this year has been Air of Fire. Still love my DNF graveyard, and I love having a TBR, so these 2 pages are definitely right up my alley. And simple, you know. I have not kept up with the books that are coming out. I have not kept up with my library holds. And I haven't even touched my audiobooks read. This was done right before that loss. So to be honest, I don't know if I'm even going to go back and bother listing the audiobooks. It's in here and this is great and it's super cute. And like, here's my spring vibes. I'm going to stick with doing my, like we have upcoming fall and winter vibes. I'm definitely going to stick with doing those. But I think I just need to kind of simplify things a little bit. So originally, this is how we were starting. And you can see in January, I have everything listed here. I did a quote, I did my favorite book, and that's great. And then here is all of my reading tracking. Now this I love. This tells me how long it took to read something. It tells me, you know, when I started it, when I finished it. So I'm getting the information if I have a book loan or whatever, because when I get a book, typically I'm starting it within a day or two. And then I'm returning it the day I finish it. So, and that's typical even of like Libby, or with library, it might be the next day I return it. But it's good for, you know, keeping track of that. So this I love, and I love tracking like what I've gotten from the library, what I've gotten from Libby, and also what genres I've read. So that's good. This was fun, but you'll notice that drops off. Now in February, again, everything's filled out here. Perfect. There's my calendar, which of course tells me everything. And I still did this update, and I even did an extra bigger one on Onyx Storm. So again, great. March, everything filled in. I was still doing a bigger up next list. The up next list, I've decided to do just 3 because it's too much otherwise. Here is my March calendar. Everything is on that. And this is the last month, I believe, that you're going to see, because I don't think I did it in April, but this is the last month I did this. Taking the time to do all this, guys, when I do this, it probably takes anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. And right now, I just don't have the time for it. I just literally don't have the time for it. You'll notice here in April, I never printed out a book for favorite. I never put in a quote. I do have my up next list, and I do have all my stats. And to me, that's the important part. Now, I'm still going to keep decorating the pages the same exact way. Number 1, for uniformity, but number 2, I want to show what ended up dropping off, because at the end of the year when I go through this, I want to be able to say, all right, well, so this maybe wasn't a big deal to me. Picking out a favorite book is not necessarily a big deal for me. In my mind, I typically know that. I'm also wondering if there's a place for me to put it on my calendar. Like maybe I put a box in here somewhere and put down what my favorite book was. Or maybe I find a way to mark it, you know, on here. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not giving up on it completely, but I don't know that I'm going to continue filling things out any different than what I'm doing right now. Here, you'll notice I have the list, but I never went back and did anything with it. Now in May, I've gone through and written down all my totals. Again, no quote, no book. There it is. All the stats. I loved these calendars. Really, really hit home for me. And there was a time when I was literally just filling out the calendar, filling out the currently page, and then also like it was a monthly I was using, a Happy Planner monthly. So on those different sections, I was tracking the books I read. And you know what? I sometimes wonder if I shouldn't go back to that. So I'm considering something different from next year. But yeah, so I still have my list here. Didn't do anything with it. Here is June. And by the way, guys, let me just mention again, my friend Robin makes the most beautiful kits that go so well with this teacher planner. This was the 2024-2025 one. I don't care. I've actually, starting in July, you'll notice I had to go back and redate it because I completely forgot that the dates that were in there are a day off because it's literally from 2024 and not from 2025, because I forgot this was an academic planner. But so I went ahead and again, same information here. Book and quote are missing. The calendar has been updated, finally. So that's good. And just as a side note, so I ended up reading 6 books in June, $22.98 for pages, and I loaned 5. At this point, I've still only bought the 1 book, which was Onyx Storm. That's going to change here in July. So again, here's my calendar. Look at that. No notes. Now, July, I bought 2 books. We're going to get into that in just a second. I'll talk about that before I flip and talk about August. I read a total of 4 books, 1159 pages, 5 were loaned. These are the upcoming books that will be in the Amish Candy Shop Mysteries that I'm currently reading, which we're going to talk about also in a minute. So here we are. Here is my calendar. Easily to say, I loved all of these books. Lone Survivor was probably my favorite, and I can point that out just by knowing that was the book Marcus Luttrell wrote about the Operation Red Wings, I guess you could say disaster. 3 men died, he survived. It's one of the most amazing stories I've ever read in my life. And I wanted to read it in July because the anniversary of Operation Red Wings was in June. That operation occurred at the end of June of I forgot the year. But there's also a movie made with Mark Wahlberg that was incredible. So highly, highly recommended. If you're not into wanting to read about the book. If you like Mark Wahlberg, you'll love the movie. Great movie. This is where I started the Amish Candy Shop Mysteries, and they are super fun. So this was book 1, 1.5, and I'm currently on 2. I've had a lot going on the last 2 weeks, so I literally have been reading a little bit, but I'm still reading it. So it will take into August. Now, let's also talk about the 2 books I bought. You may recall, the last time we chatted, I said I was probably going to get Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. I did. And again, the reason I did that was simply because I could not guarantee that I would be able to get them both at the same time. And I really want to do the tandem read. So I reprinted out the tandem read schedule. I'm thinking about going in and, maybe one day this week, putting in sticky notes so that I can see what I have to read and when. I'm not going to use last year's tandem read schedule that I made up. I will probably make either a new one or make a list. We'll see. However, I did buy these 2 books because, again, first of all, it's a super long wait either on Libby or the library, but it's also, like I said, there's no guarantee I'd be able to get them together. And I do want to do that tandem read. Everybody who's done that says that that is a great way to read those 2 stories, so I am going to do it. Now, that's not saying they won't be DNF'd if I don't like where the books are going or if they're just not for me. Air of Fire, as we know, was, a book like that. And I certainly didn't expect it, but then I also loved Queen of Shadows. So we're going to see how those books go, and we'll talk about that probably soon. I'm not exactly sure that I'm going to start them in August. I am considering starting them either in September or October, because those will probably be the only books on my list for that particular month. So again, July, here we go. And July, I just simply wrote down the 2 books I bought. And then, of course, now we have August set up. I did decide to go ahead and write Lethal Licorice here because it will continue into the first few days, at least, if not the first week of August. Today is already the 31st. So yeah, tomorrow I will have to be starting that. So that's fine. Now, another thing to discuss. I already, by the way, I started writing this down here. And I think from now on, I think I'm just going to try writing it down where I put the title, the author, the day I started it and finished it, and then the pages, and then the format. I'm not going to be concerned with rating books anymore. If something is not up my alley, I DNF it. It's that simple. I can look at a book title and remember if it was a favorite book or not. So I really don't know that that kind of information is necessarily important moving forward. Now, if I do decide to go back and put in favorite books, that's great. I will probably have to look up quotes, though, because I didn't write any down. So that's another thing. I don't know if I'm going to be keeping up in the future with like quotes and first lines and stuff, because right now it's more about the enjoyment process, because that's kind of what I need. And again, it's just because circumstances in my life have changed. So, this is where you have to say to yourself, don't be afraid to change just because you're finding your rhythm off, or don't be afraid to change because maybe something is no longer working the same way it once did. So I am going to finish out this planner with the beautiful kits from Robin, and I absolutely love them. So those are going to be used when I do. Oh yeah, look, I wrote a note. I whited out the number 1. I wrote a note and I put down the holidays. That's probably something I'm going to do for October, November, and December as well, just to make sure I don't screw it up in the future. But again, my life has been kind of off. So, okay, so I'm having to change the way I'm doing things. The reading is more for enjoyment than, I think, kind of cataloging things. So I think things are going to change just a teeny little bit because of that. You're also going to see an upcoming video that is going to show a different planner that I purchased, and I'm considering using it for next year in place of that plum paper disc bound that I was originally going to do with all the dragons. And we're going to discuss that, like I said, in that video. Another thing I did want to mention, though, when my godparents came in town, my aunt, who is also an avid reader like I am, brought me a ton of books. She gets these at her local church, and she brought like a stack here to me. She asked if I wanted, like the regular paperbacks and stuff, and I told her, I'm like, you know what, I can't read that size of print anymore. And since I don't like necessarily having to use, my reading glasses, I told her, I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Just, whatever hardcovers or larger paperbacks. So here I have Harlan Coben, No Second Chance. So that looks like an interesting book. And I've heard of this author, never read. So that'll be great. There are 2 books here. And let me put these others to the side. Oh, okay. They're actually heavier than they look. These are from Secrets from Grandma's Attic series. And there's a History Lost and Found and Art of Deception here by 2 different authors. And apparently this is a little, I'm guessing it's like a cozy mystery type series. So I'm going to look up this list and see what other books are in there. Because these sound like they're going to be really good too. And I'm excited that she gave me all these because this is opening up a whole new world. There's another one here, Annie's Sweet Intrigue, Betrayal of Trust. So apparently this is a series as well. Oh yeah, here. So there are 4 books in the series and it says more to come. So Betrayal of Trust is the latest. Okay, so here, Dangerous at Heart is the first. So that, and then Christmas Peril and Burning Danger. So I might look those up because these are kind of short books. And I'm thinking these might be a lot of fun to read. You guys know I love my cozy mysteries and thrillers and stuff. So she's very much into the same books I am, which I think is fantastic. So here, Museum of Mysteries. This sounds totally up my alley. Mummy's the Word. So let's see what this one says. Here, again, there's 4 books and more to come. So this looks like, yeah, this is the latest. So Naughty or Knife, Doubloon Jeopardy, and Buried Secrets. So there's 3 others I'll have to look up. So I'm going to check these out because these are really great. And, they are now part of my TBR, not necessarily officially in my book as a TBR, but they're on my shelf now. I didn't have to buy them. I was very blessed that she brought them for me. And I'm really excited to give these a try. So this one's called The Jig is Up, and this is the Scottish Bakehouse Mysteries. You guys know I love this kind of stuff. So, oh wow, there's a whole bunch. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely check these out. Now, here's another thing. There's also 2 more of these. So there's also If Looks Could Kilt and You'll Be Sorry in that same series. So yeah, so I have 3 of these now. So that's just kind of fun. So I'm going to see if I can get these either through Libby or the library and see how those go. So I have a whole new stack of books. And I think, when she brought those for me, God bless her, that's when I realized, oh my gosh, I really need to start reading my TBR. So I'm going to pick at least 1 book a month from my TBR. I'm also going to do a little research on all these that she brought for me. And now that I have Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms, I'm not going to be so worried. Again, my biggest concern was that I wouldn't be able to get them together and do the tandem read. Well, now I own them. And so, that, whether it happens this year or next year, again, not super concerned. So, changes for next month. Let me flip back to this page. I'm going to keep this the same. I really love the way this looks. Will I do a favorite book and a quote? We'll see. I might try to get back on that wagon, but I'm not going to go back and worry about changing things that I didn't do. And same thing with the bigger trackers in the front. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to keep up with what works for me and what I have time for. And that's that. So my main focus is going to be this page and these pages. And we're going to see how it goes. That's kind of just, I think that's why I just needed to sit down and have kind of an honest chat with you guys. Things change in your life and, you find yourself having to change with them. Don't be afraid to do that. And, most of all, don't beat yourself up over it. At first when I picked up the planner a couple days ago to kind of update it, I was like, oh, I haven't updated any of this. And I was feeling kind of bad. And then I thought, no, you know what? The circumstances have kind of changed. I haven't had a chance to really keep up with it. So August 1st, starting tomorrow, I'm going to keep up with it as it is. If I choose to go back and do things later, if I have time, great. If I don't, great. I'm not going to be super concerned about it. So next month on September 5th, which will be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll be a Friday. Not Thursday, it'll be a Friday. Robin and I will be doing our next collaboration together, and she and I are both going to do our fall reads list. She commented on my last video, and her and I both agree we're totally up for our fall reads list. So I'm excited for that as well. Depending on what I find out about these books, you might see some of those on there because I'm really excited. You know, when people give me books, it's like Christmas. And I don't care. Like, it's just a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get those started. I feel much more at ease now. I have Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storms. So I'm actually really pleased with where August is going to start. And I'm looking forward to having a great finish to the year. And again, you guys, I can't say enough how much I love how all of this turns out. I mean, like I said, look, the white flowers in here match the white flowers on her designs. I mean, it's just amazing how these kits look in this planner. And I am going to finish out the year with this planner because I love it. And I cannot wait at the end of the year to do a flip through. Now, again, we'll see how things go on the front. You know, I might be changing around some things for next year's planning. I think at the very least, I will, you know, keep these type of pages. But again, this has just gotten, I haven't had time. I don't even, you know I wrote down what markers I have. Honestly, I don't even know where those markers are right now. They're upstairs somewhere in my big pen thing, I'm assuming. This is good. I love this. I might change the way I track it for next year, but I will finish out the year with this one. I'm not going to worry about the favorites. I probably will not worry about the first lines. What I did have saved in my tablet, I will go back in and write. I will say that. And I will try to remember moving forward to do that just because it will be a fun thing to finish. But I'm kind of not even concerned about all these pages. I'm really not. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do the big series completed list next year. I don't know. But it's funny because when things in your life change, you find yourself reevaluating how things are working for you. Like, I love my TBR and I love my DNF graveyard. Those for sure are not flipping going anywhere. Anywhere at all. So just know that those will be in the next year's books. But I don't know if I need to, I don't really care because I'm not buying any of the releases. You know, and I read things in order typically if it's a series, so this is really kind of unimportant. The Libyan library holds, it doesn't matter how well I track it. Things always manage to show up together at the same time. So I've just learned that I think it's better for me to put one on hold either at the library or at Libby and call it a day. I'm no longer doing multiple holds. So I will say this, the information that I have in this book has helped me grow a lot in my reading routine. And it's just, I'm finding this year, due to circumstances, it's going to be changing probably a little bit. But I'm kind of excited for that. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I actually do enjoy change. I get comfortable, sure. And I enjoy things, you know, the way they are. But I also enjoy when things are changing. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. Robin and I love doing these collaborations together. And I'll be honest with you, I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. She and I do our reading collaborations. We also do our wellness updates together. And I love that. So I think I want to focus on the things I enjoy the most and kind of put the things that are a little bit more tedious or have felt a little more tedious lately off to the side. So again, guys, thanks for joining me. Robin, thank you so much for doing this with me. And thank you for creating these beautiful kits. They look so fabulous on this planner. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have questions or comments or ideas or thoughts, put them down below in the you know, comment area. I will leave Robin's YouTube channel, her companion video to this, and her Etsy shop linked down below in the description box. Okay, guys? So I will see you in the next video, and I'm sure that's probably going to be a little chatty too. So be prepared. Grab some coffee or tea next time. We'll talk soon. Bye.